You know that feeling, you tap an app, a car shows up, it's just easy. But what if that simple tap could land you in some serious legal trouble, facing a massive fine? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a hidden, illegal side of the rideshare economy, where the real price of that convenience is way, way higher than you think. I mean, just listen to this quote. It's a renter's absolute worst nightmare. Imagine you're pulled over in a rental car, you're facing a huge fine, and the company you paid for support basically tells you, you're on your own. This isn't some made up scenario. This is exactly where our story kicks off.
Okay, so let's set the scene here. You've got a group of friends in Mumbai. They just want to explore the city for a day. So they do what tons of us would do. They book a self-drive car on a popular app, in this case, Zoomcar. But their fun day out, well, it was about to spiral into a full-blown legal nightmare.
So here's the play-by-play of how it all went down. In the morning, they get the car, and they notice something a little off. It has a white, private number plate, not the yellow and black commercial one you'd expect. They probably just shrugged it off. Big mistake. Because late that night, a police checkpoint turns that little detail into a massive problem. The cops immediately flagged the car as an illegal rental. And the consequence they were facing was just staggering. The police threatened them with a 20,000 rupee fine. I mean, that's not just a slap on the wrist. That is a serious penalty for something they didn't even know they were doing wrong. So, naturally, in a panic, they call for help. This is when the company you paid is supposed to have your back, right? Well, this is where the whole system just completely failed them. Zoomcar support was apparently impossible to reach, and the car's owner, he just told them to settle it with the police. They were totally, completely abandoned. So, how on earth did this happen? What's the actual rule that turned their rental into this legal landmine? Well, the crucial point here, the absolute heart of the problem, is something incredibly simple, something you see every day: the color of the number plate. And this slide right here, this is the whole game. India's Motor Vehicles Act is not ambiguous about this. It is crystal clear. A private car, the one with the white plate and black letters, is for your personal use. That's it. You cannot legally rent it out or use it as a taxi. For any kind of commercial work, like a self-drive rental, the vehicle has to have a commercial T permit and that black plate with yellow text. There is no gray area. But here's the catch. The problem comes from business models like Zoomcar's host program. See, this is a system where the app, the aggregator, doesn't actually own the cars. It just creates a marketplace for regular people, private car owners, to list their personal cars for other people to rent. And what's the result? You get a flood of illegal white plate cars operating as commercial rentals with you, the customer, stuck right in the middle of it. But listen, this isn't just a Zoomcar thing, not by a long shot. This exact problem is popping up on other major platforms, and it reveals a huge systemic issue that goes way beyond just one bad rental. For example, in Mumbai, the unions that represent all the legally registered cab drivers have been ringing the alarm bells. They've filed official complaints with the transport authorities about private cars with those white plates showing up on the Uber app to pick up paying passengers. And we're not talking about just a few cars slipping through the cracks here. The unions estimate that there are somewhere around 250 to 300 private cars running illegally as taxis on Uber in Mumbai alone. That is a massive number. So you might be thinking, okay, but what's the real harm? Well, it creates a whole bunch of serious problems. For passengers, the number one issue is safety. These private cars often skip all the regulations, meaning they might not have mandatory safety features like speed governors or emergency buttons. And for the legal drivers, it's just brutally unfair competition. They're paying for all the right permits and taxes, while these illegal operators just don't. So let's flip the coin for a second and look at this from their perspective, the actual professional drivers who follow all the rules but are watching their business get eaten away. And this is a fight that's happening all across the country. In Telangana, for example, the Gig and Platform Worker Union is actively campaigning, pushing the government and the police to finally crack down on these illegal operations, which they say get even worse during big festival seasons. And the union president, Sheikh Salahuddin, makes a really critical point here. He says their fight isn't with the individual drivers who are just trying to make a living. No, their target is the huge multi-billion-dollar aggregator companies who they accuse of knowingly letting this happen and profiting from practices that completely defy the laws of the land. And the impact of all this is massive. It really is a domino effect. The legal drivers, they lose business. The state governments lose out on huge amounts of tax revenue. And maybe most importantly, you, the passenger, are unknowingly put at risk every single time you step into one of these unregulated cars.
So, when you've got a system that operates in this kind of legal gray zone, you have to ask who's actually holding the bag when things go south? When it all goes wrong, who really ends up paying the price?
This table breaks it down perfectly, and it is pretty wild when you see it laid out like this. The risk is almost entirely pushed downwards. The customer, you face fines and safety issues. The legal driver, they lose income. Even the private car owner who lists their car faces fines and having their vehicle taken away. And the aggregator platforms, the ones facilitating this whole thing, well, they appear to have built a brilliant system that shifts all the legal and financial risk onto everyone else. It's kind of the core of the business model. So in response, the demands from the driver unions are very clear and very direct. They want strict enforcement of the laws that are already on the books. They want big penalties for not complying. And most importantly, they want the aggregator companies themselves to be held accountable and be forced to block illegal vehicles from ever signing up on their platforms in the first place. And that brings us right back to where we started. These platforms, they promise us this seamless, easy convenience. But as we've seen, hiding just beneath that simple interface is a whole world of legal loopholes and shifted risk. So the real question is, the next time you open up that app to book a ride, is that convenience really worth the hidden cost?